Hey Dennis, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let this play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your dress position, setup's not too bad. Spine straight, not a tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position as well. Just get rid of that arrow, put straight lines. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball. So pretty decent posture there in association with good balance. I can see from this vantage point that you do need to work on your grip. Your right hand's too strong. It means your right hand's rotated too far underneath the golf club to the right. Got to get the golf club a little bit more in the fingers, get a good trigger finger. Can't really see your left hand. Can't tell whether or not that's correct or not. But definitely need to definitely improve your grip here. Your alignment also looks good. Feet are, let me get rid of the squares here. And we can see your feet aimed in this direction. So carry that out towards the intended target. Theoretically, club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge. And under that philosophy, we can see that you're set up sort of right down the right center of the fairway, so not too bad. Let's do a little split screen comparison between you and Jordan Spieth. Got some color-coded lines on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. We can see with Jordan as he initiates his takeaway, he creates good shoulder rotation, drawing the arms and hands back as well as his club. We see the club coming back on plane directly along the red line. Also in the early stages of the golf swing, we want to incorporate good wrist hinge into play, whereby we're going to transition the club head currently from below and in front of our hands to getting this club head above and behind our hands. Really important move in the transitional takeaway here. As we continue to work the club back, we're going to work the club from red now up to the yellow-blue V zone. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we want to either have the left arm of the club situated on the yellow line, anywhere in between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically even up on blue, as we see here with Jordan Spieth. We want to create full shoulder rotation, stable right side, and maintain that posture axis that we achieved at address. As we watch you initiate your takeaway here, you sort of pick your hands up, taking the club to the outside. So one of the things you want to do when you initiate your takeaway is let your hands, arms, and golf club swing inside and around you ever so gently, okay? The golf swing is a circular motion. We want to swing it on an arc around us. We don't want to be picking the club up. So my concern here is you're going to continue to pick the club up, not around. Hopefully we get some wrist hinge into play here where we now get the club head above and behind the hands a little. So we can see the club head above, but it's not behind, and that's because we're picking the club up. Right here it now falls in behind us, so good correction right here. Let's see if we start to shallow that out a little bit too and not continue to pick it up too much. We can see when we get set at the top of the backswing, you've turned your shoulders nicely, pretty stable right side, maintaining your posture axis, looks great. But we see when you set your hands and arms, you get a little bit steep. Just means your left arm's a little bit above the blue line. And actually, theoretically, for amateur players, I prefer you guys to have your left arm situated down on yellow and in a shallower set position, only because it's easier to return the club back to red. When we're in a steeper position, usually we end up coming over the top and attacking the ball from outside to inside. So with Jordan Spieth, what do we want to do now? We want to move the weight from the right foot to the left foot. We want to fire the knees and the hips laterally to the target, unwind the core, fire the hands. And in doing so, we want to bring the club from that blue-yellow V zone back down onto red. And that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. We can see the golf club has returned back to being on plane. The other thing we want to look at is the relationship between the lead forearm and the golf club. I refer to this as the backwards check mark. It simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone. This is what's going to allow him to create a lot of power in his golf swing, aside from the fact that he's also going to hit the ball straight because the club has returned back to plane, as we've already noted, which is a main criteria in producing straight golf shots. I want to take him back down to address for a second. I talked about that transitional hinge and how critical it was, getting the club head currently from in front and below our hands to moving it above and behind. Well, notice when we create this hinge and we get the club head above and behind the hands, he's in the exact same backwards check mark. So all he does now is moves up into that blue-yellow V zone and returns the club right back down into that backwards check mark. Again, this is the most important part of a golf swing in order to create power and hit straight golf shots. With you, as you create your transition back in the ball, unfortunately your hands come over the top. They travel down blue, and the club is being thrown out away from you. So if we continue to track the club head coming in the ball, first of all, we can see this club head is not returning back to plane. As we continue to follow this club head coming into the ball, that club head is going to continue to move further out in front of your hands. Look at it. At this point in time, it now gets out in front of the ball. So that over-the-top move is causing the club to come into the ball very steep, as we can witness right here. That causes the club to move into the ball on an out-to-in path. So unlike Jordan, with the club returning onto plane here and attacking the ball from on plane, which again produces straight golf shots, as long as the club face squares up via having a good grip, you're not able to do that because the club is not returning back to plane. So at this point in time, seeing that the downswing planes are vastly different, let's go ahead and take a look at the path of the club now. We can see Jordan's club is inside the ball. It expands out to make contact, moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is outside the ball, dropping down and across. So that's how your club moved, through impact. So if we square the club face up to that swing path, we're going to hit the ball and pull it in that direction. If we over-release the club to the same path, not only will we pull the ball, but now we're imparting right to left spin on the ball, and we're going to hit some form of a pull draw or pull hook. If we leave the club face a little bit open to the path, this is great because now we can block the ball out to the right just a little, impart a little bit of left to right spin, and get a nice little fade on the ball, and the ball will find the intended target. Also, if we happen to leave the club face too open, incredibly, we can start the ball even further right, considering the fact that we're swinging aggressively left, which is pretty incredible to think how open that club face would be. And now we've imparted way too much left to right spin, and we're hitting a block slice. So the end result of the golf shot is dictated based on the timing of the club face. Because the club is attacking the ball from the outside, striking the ball, moving to the inside. If we happen to square the club face up to the path, we're going to pull the ball left. If we over-release the club to the path, not only are we going to pull it, but we're going to pull draw it or pull hook it, and it follows the smaller red arrows. If we under-release it, it follows blue, and time it properly, it follows yellow, and everything turns out. Looks like you got some pretty good footwork with your right heel coming off the ground, moving through. Get yourself through to a really nice finish. You could probably finish with your hands a little higher, not so congested to your core. You can see your inner left tricep pasted to your rib cage here. So try and learn to finish with your hands a bit higher. Through impact here, I just want to pay attention to what your club face actually did with that out to in path. And in this particular case, looks like the club face squares up and the ball is heading left. Yeah, and it's going low left. So because the club face over-released, not only is the club face closed, but we de-lofted the club as well. The ball's heading down that blue arrow and likely staying left, obviously because the club face squared up. So you can sort of get a sense of, what timing is required here to get that ball to fade or slice back online. Okay? So athletic motion's good. Hands work well. They come back. They fire through. Your core works well. You coil. You uncoil. You got good footwork carrying you through to a good finish. It's just unfortunate that, you draw this golf club back by picking it up and taking it outside. You get set too steep. Now it's hard to return the club back onto plane. You come over the top, tack the ball steep, get out to in, and swinging that club aggressively from outside to inside and across the ball. At that point in time, if you don't leave that club face open, you're not going to find your intended target. Over-release the club too much, goes too far left. Under-release it, goes too far right. It just requires precise timing on your part. And again, like I said, if we want to be consistent and hit straight shots, 3 things we need. We have to aim well, bring the club down on plane, and square the face up. Unfortunately, we're pretty severely over the top, and that's going to wreak a lot of havoc on your left to right tendencies. Okay? Anyways, hope you had a fabulous day. If at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, certainly feel free to reach out. I'm over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a little program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to reach out and be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, again, hope you had a great day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.